Hi everybody. Today I want to show you several different things. One is the Adirondack siding that we saw on my sawmill at times. We have over the years quite a few people that have bought Adirondack siding, and I will, for those that don't know what that is, I will show you what it is from one little project that we built here on the farm. So this is just a little woodshed that we have down by our cabin for our sleigh ride trail, and this is Adirondack siding, also known as brainstorm siding, and actually there's, I think, other names for it also. But this is some wood we sawed out of tamarack, but most of the time I just use white pine. And as you can see, we actually, on this particular little thing, because it's just a small little one, we actually made some cedar siding. No, I take that back. I think they're tamarack. Yeah, they're tamarack. Tamarack for some roofing. Just some regular shingles that we made up, and I believe we used tamarack just because I happen to have some available. But anyways, this is the siding that we're sawing today, and I want to show that to you, and even saw one log to show you how I do it. But I want to show you a bit of a demolition project we've tackled here on the farm, and this is a project that's needed to be done for a long time now, and I'm finally just sort of getting to it, but I'm still working alone, so it's a little bit difficult to do everything I need to do. But we got to start here anyway, so I will show you what we're doing. We are tearing the wall out of my sawmill building. And as I said, we're just in the demolition project, and then we got a ton of rain last night, so all my holes are filled up with water. But what I'm going to do, or what I have to do because of what I've got, is this wall has started to fall away from the building. And the whole top of the building has actually shifted over, I believe. Actually, I'm sure of it. And so this was the original wall here, and as you can see, it's actually shifted over in the last, many years. 3 feet, 2 feet, 2 feet, I guess. And so what I've decided to do is I've dug down where down all the way down to the footers, which there's a good wide footer here which you cannot see because they're filled with water. But I'm going to make this into just a regular pole barn of sorts. So I'll just put 6x6s up every 8 feet and bury them, and hopefully that will support this building and we won't have a collapse here, which is definitely something that would be happening at some point if we don't do something. So that's what we're going to do. We're just starting with these 3 posts right here. I'm hoping to get these in and then just continue the project. And it's going to take me a long time to do it, and it's going to be a little here, a little there. But by putting these 3 in, it should stabilize it quite well. For the past quite a few years now, I've actually stabilized this by putting these 6x6s inside and put a new plate up top to hold the building from going any further than it has. But hopefully by putting those 6x6s on the outside, we can brace them up on an angle in such a way to hold it from shifting anymore. So that's what we're working on, and as you can see, it's quite wet out there, and because of that wetness, that caused me another problem this morning. I will go show you now what that problem was, and then we'll come back to the sawing this Adirondack siding. I knew it was quite wet, but as usual I had to push my limits as much as I could, and I drove the skid steer out here to get this round bale, and I got her buried. I wasn't going to work any of the horses today, but I had to hitch them up and pull this skid steer out, so here we are with Buck and Ken.
This is not Brenda's favorite thing to do, but I had to ask her to help.
Okay, I got set up. You don't have to have the seatbelt on. This fork's already up. So just as soon as I'm hitched on the seat, go back.
Go back?
Go back. You go backwards. You go backwards.
Oh, you're going backwards.
Okay.
There's no easy way to hitch to the center of the skid steer, so I had hitched onto the further side, and because of that, when I pulled back, it pulled it right into this log. So I attempted to get out, but of course I couldn't do anything. So now I'll hitch onto the right side so that it will swing this skid steer away from that log and up out of here. What a mess I've made. Oh well. Well, after all the trouble I had with the skid steer, I decided I better use the horses to take this bale of hay out to the cows this morning.
Looks like the bale's doing a hula dance. So Jim feels like there's still not a whole lot of grass in the pasture. I'm always surprised this time of year. I think we got a lot of grass, and Jim worries that the cows aren't getting enough tonnage. I always think that because it's a very large pasture. I figure they can find grass to eat, but it's not real long, and so it's better to make sure they have enough, and these bales really need to get used up.
You got to remember, normal turnout time for cattle in our area of the world is around May 10th to May 20th. And this is
April
tomorrow's last of April.
29th.
So it's unusual to be putting cows up this early anyway, so we just want to make sure there's plenty for the cattle. And
you got it to use, you might as well. Would it still be good for next year if you left it?
Sure, but it'll be all set this year. We'll have a dry spell during the summertime where they'll be lacking, and I'll feed some of it upside down. I think there's still another 25 or 30 more bales down in the lower field. I'm heading to that gate over there. Can I get my gate?
Yeah. I love this gate hook. The grass is not very thick up here. It's a pretty big area, but it's super big area, but not much here. It's really rocky, super rocky over here. And of course this hasn't been worked up and maybe ever. I have no idea. Cows are down over the hill.
Put it down the rock somewhere. Come on, come on.
There's a lot of prickers or briars in here. Jim bush hogged some of it last year, and they may eat some of it when it's tender still. Hopefully it'll keep things down a little bit. Used to go blackberry picking out here when the kids were little, but I don't think it, but you have to have a perfect year because they dry up. Are they in this? They're in the fence, yeah. It looked like they weren't in the fence.
They weren't.
Oh, the kids
The other
weren't.
ones are in there, too. Bah. Bah. Bah.
Come boss, come boss.
My chain, when I started it, it rolled underneath a little bit. And now my chain is way underneath, I can't get it. So what I think I'll do is I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Gonna leave it there like you left the other one out in the field?
Oh, be quiet. I just love it. Gee. Still can't get the chain out, so I'm gonna flip it around. Gee, coming your way.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Ah. Oh.
Is that gonna work?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Love to see all the little babies.
Amazing how little we lost on the way through was just by dragging it on the ground. Basically none.
I'm gonna try to get the little ones coming up. Come on, little kids. They're so cute.
Hey, cat.
I see 5 here, but
Five where?
right here together.
Oh, there's a bunch more down there.
I know, I'm just saying right here there's 5.
Good.
I think so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. There's
Two down there. Maybe
2.
three.
Look at that cute little black one.
Go.
2 and 5 equals 7. You guys, chill.
Okay, that job's done. Let's go to the sawmill and saw some Adirondack siding. So let's get some sawing done. Most of the time when I put the logs on this sawmill, this lifter, the logs are straight, so they'll roll right on nicely. But a lot of these logs I saw for Adirondack siding are not that straight, and they're pretty grubby logs. It makes more of a unique siding, so sometimes I have to roll them on by hand a little bit.
when I'm doing siding like this, I try to get the log that I want to have the bark showing on the bottom to start with, because that's what is showing. And a lot of times I will take my first cut, and then I will take a 2-inch piece off the top before I actually start making siding. So we get this 2-inch piece off, and then we can turn the log and start making siding. The people that use this Adirondack siding really has to have an artisticness to them, because it's quite a challenge to put it up. You got to keep putting your boards in such a way to make it look good, and there's a lot of art to it. This first cut was not quite deep enough, so I have to go a little bit deeper this next time. Generally, when people put siding up like this, they usually have 1, 2, or even as much as 3 inches of overlap. So a little bit of bark on that one edge doesn't hurt because it gets covered up. I usually take my saw out of gear when I come to the cut before I back out of there, because my board return will drag the board back for me. But I'm having a little bit of battery troubles right now on my mill, so a lot of the cuts I'm leaving the blade engaged while I'm coming back. It's a little risky, but that's what I have to do right now. If something goes wrong, the board will hit the blade while it's running and take it right off the band wheels. It's kind of nice having this big hole in the wall of this building right at the moment, because I get to look outside and watch the horses out in the barnyard and out in their pasture. So after I get partway down the cut, I would just completely flip it over and saw right down through on the other side. I don't usually get a measurement, I just kind of make a cut wherever, and usually it means I have to make a shim cut on the very last board because it doesn't come out exactly right. But this particular log, it actually came out right. When I'm sawing dimensional stuff, I will always start in such a way that I will end up at the last board being the correct size. But for Adirondack siding, I cut it 3/4 of an inch thick, so I don't bother. I just take the shim cut out when I'm done at the very end.
So this first cut won't quite be good enough for Adirondack siding, so I ended up picking a 2-inch piece, and we'll edge that later, and then from there we'll just go down 3/4 inches at a time. Actually, we go 7/8 because of the thickness of the blade. So here I am at my last cut, and it actually turned out pretty well accurately at 3/4 of an inch, so that's great. I usually keep the 3 boards together like this and then just drag them all out together at the very end. So there you have it, Adirondack siding, ready to go to a customer and so he can put it up on his building. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day.